Good morning, good afternoon. Listen, thank you guys once again for tuning in. I appreciate all the effort you guys are making and watching my videos. I really would like to ask those people who watch my videos and not subscribers to subscribe. Help me out. Today, I got a couple things I want to try to cover in today's vlog. One is we've talked about the mature Filipina. We've talked about the young Filipina. We've talked about some of the red flags in dating. But, you know, there's an option here in the Philippines that is available. And that option is you could have multiple spouses, okay, or multiple girlfriends. 1, 2, 3, you know. There are Filipinos who accept their husband or their boyfriend having another mate. That's an option here in the Philippines. I'm sure many of you probably don't have actual practice in participating in that. If you're coming from the West, you're used to just having one person. But here in the Asian culture, it is something that's acceptable by some females, multiple spouses. Now, the Filipina is not involved with other men. It's just that she will allow you to have another female spouse. The problem is can you keep up? Can you keep up physically? And can you keep up mentally? Because the mentality that you have in the West, you wouldn't be able to keep up with multiple spouses here in Southeast Asia. You would need to change your philosophy in how you calibrate your decision making. You would literally have to have a paradigm in your thought process. Okay? Let's say, for instance, nowadays, if your woman is saying something and you think that is petty or is frivolous, you'll brush it off. Or you wouldn't really dove into it as if it was like a serious issue. But here, something that seems petty or frivolous, you need to pay it as much attention as you would pay something that you think is very important. Why? Because the Filipina needs her inquiries, her requests, she needs them dealt with efficiently. And if you don't, then you're leaving a void in her. I hope you understand what I'm saying. In other words, if she has a question, if she has a problem, she has a situation, or whatever, and this is something that normally you would brush off, or you wouldn't give it much credence, you need to stop now and pay close attention to that. And that goes the same for your tolerance. Your tolerance, your level of anxiety, your anger. All of those things has to go through a change. Because remember, Southeast Asia is a different culture. They don't get loud and fuss and fight and cuss and argue and all of those type of things. Okay? I mean, I've heard some people talking on some very emotional and serious topics. And they were just as level, not monotone, but they were level in their conversation. There was nothing that you could tell that a person was angry, upset, or indifferent. It was all like it was calculated answers. Because they hold a high value to how they present themselves. Like we would say, are you being a gentleman? Are you being ladylike? They hold a high value to that, you know, and being a gentleman and being ladylike. And even the ones who are from a more prominent or less prominent clan, they too have this to a high degree because it's their culture. So where we would say, man, F this, or I ain't dealing with this BS, or you know, you know the things that you say that we say in the West, you know, and how we shoot off, you know, how we put things down. Here, you would begin to have a serious problem with your Filipina if you carried on in that fashion. So, if you're going to have multiple Filipinos, then that's going to be times 2, times 3, you know. So, you'd have to be able to stand up to that. Okay? And then there's the physical aspect, you know, because the Filipina is very emotional. She's sexy, and she requires attention. Okay? So you need to be able to work that out. Okay? So listen, one thing I want to ask you guys, subscribe, leave me some comments. Let me know what it is you want to hear about. Okay? Let me know what you got questions about. And the main thing is, I want to present at all times on this channel a venue of support, a venue of informative information, a venue that has substance that will give you some answers or some ways to work out some things that you may be going through in your journey to the Philippines or while you're here in the Philippines and or with your Filipina. If at any point in time my vlog appears to be angry, bitter, divisive, confrontational, if at any point you feel those vibes from me in any of my vlogs, I need you to comment, let me know, because it's time for me to stop this. Because I'm not here to be confrontational. I'm not here to be angry. I'm not here for that. My main goal is to help anyone who listens to my vlogs with avoiding some of the pitfalls that I personally have fell in and or have seen other people fall in, or that I know exist. Whether I didn't fall in them myself, I didn't see anyone fall in them, but I seen them there, and I say that this is something that could be detrimental to an expat trying to establish himself in this country. You see? So at any time, if I seem angry, arrogant, anything other than pleasing and informative, leave me a comment, let me know. Because I'll cut this so fast, you won't even know I was on the internet. Because that's not my purpose. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to show anger, to be vindictive, or none of that kind of stuff. Okay? And I'm asking you because sometimes people get in those modes and they may not realize it. You see? Because they are in that, that's how they are, that's the emotions that they're feeling. And it's being displayed across on that screen. And I don't want to display any type of imagery like that, because everything I've experienced, the good and the bad in the Philippines, is all something that I cherish. And I respect the process that I went through. I respect the experience that I went through. And I'm not bitter or regretful about none of it. Okay? And I, in return, want to try to relay to everyone who listens how they can be that way, in regardless to whatever their experience is. If they come here, they meet a Filipina, their relationship is successful off the rip, everything is just as they planned, you see, then I'm happy for them. That's the way it should be. And if it's not, you can still be satisfied with your trip, your adventure. You can be satisfied with the experience that you had. Because why? As a person, you've grown. You've grown as a person, and that should make you more complete and make you happy. And I'm telling you, you can always get on the road here in the Philippines, and there's any place that you go, you can be uplifted from the people, the scenery, the food, the music, everything can be uplifted. One thing I want to tell you guys while I'm talking about music, when you come to the Philippines, now, you know about group impersonators, you know, like the OJs, the Jackson 5, you know, they have groups and they impersonate these famous acts. Well, let me tell you something. The Filipina is a hell of an entertainer. The Filipino is a hell of an entertainer, okay? So when you come here and you go out for some entertainment, or you see something in a restaurant there, because they have live bands and trios and so forth, and you go someplace to eat and you see, don't be shocked. You say, hey man, who is that? A brother over there singing? Is that a sister over there singing? No, those are people born and raised in the Philippines, okay? And they got plenty of soul, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, my favorite entertainer is Bruno Mars. And if you don't know who Bruno Mars is, you need to get hip, okay? Get hip to Bruno Mars, okay? Because Bruno Mars, okay, and James Brown, in my book, is just like this. Okay? But anyhow, listen. I want you guys to consider that. Consider the mature Filipino. Consider multiple spouses. Meaning, okay, so if you're in Cebu and you found someone in Cebu, you're attracted with them, and you get along well with them, you establish yourself with them, and it's just not 100, and then you end up somewhere in Mindanao, or you end up, Davao, and you meet someone, and you have a relationship with them, and you go back to Cebu, you go back to Davao, you see, these things happen. These things happen, okay? And if you find yourself in a situation, just be open, man. Be honest, because the Filipina will go along with you, okay? She'll go along with you. Just, keep yourself together mentally and physically, okay? Mentally and physically. Because one thing for sure and two for certain, any woman, my granddaddy told me this, she can look up longer than you can look down, okay? So, it's something that you gotta understand, you gotta deal with, and you can make it happen. It's just another alternative. It's another choice. It's another option that you have here. And why do I say that? Because, man, with $1,200, $1,500 a month, U.S., you can do it. You can do it. If you got more than that, you can do it. You can do it here in the Philippines. I'm telling you, you can do it. And you can live a good life in both households. Okay? Just keep that in mind as an option. Don't sell yourself short. Okay? Because like I said, this is God's country. And the West is just about the only place I know. Well, I think the UK too, but, European countries, they have women on the side, kept women and so forth, whatever term they use for it, but they don't acknowledge them as a spouse or someone out front. They usually keep them in the back. The Western countries are rich and famous. They're the only ones that proclaim that you're only supposed to have one mate. But all the rest of the world, people have more than one mate, So anyhow, that's just something I wanted to throw out there because I've seen it happen. I've seen it work successfully here in the Philippines. I've seen guys that's going back and forth. They have multiple households here in the Philippines, okay? And they're going back and forth, and they're maintaining it. It's working for them, And the ones that I've seen, they seem to be happy. Both parties seem to be happy, So, once again, I want to let you guys know that when you get here in the Philippines, you got options. If you're going to be involved with more than one person, even if you're involved with one person, you need to work on yourself as well. Okay? Work on yourself. Work on your development of yourself. Please, whatever you do, look at that Filipino. Watch him. Examine him. See how he does things. See how he talks. You need to imitate a lot of that. Okay? Now, if you see the ones that drink a lot, don't imitate them. Because the ones that drink a lot, they got a lot of issues. Okay? And you'll find a lot of Filipinos that drink a lot. Okay? But the way they do business, the way they handle things, you know, you need to absorb that, because it's gonna make you a better person. And in making you a better person, you're gonna be easily able to adopt the culture of the Asian. And if you adopt the culture of the Asian, then that's going to make it easier if you travel any other place in the world to adopt the good qualities of their culture. Okay? But I truly consider the Asian culture as the cream of the crop, because there's so much in it that's personal discipline. Feel me? It's personal discipline. Like they say, I'm from Ohio. They say if you can make it in Ohio, if you can make it, they say if you can make it in Cleveland, you can make it anywhere. If you can make it in Cleveland, you can make it anywhere. You can make it in New York, California, down south. You can make it anywhere if you can make it in Cleveland. Why? Because the culture in Cleveland is so diverse, and you have so much of every type of ism that there is thrown at you on a daily basis. And if you can make it come up out the mud, then what they throw at you in New York, California, Mississippi, Georgia, it's only a fraction of what you've been getting as a daily load in Cleveland. Okay? So what I'm saying is, if you can grasp this Southeast Asian culture as a person, and just to prove it, you go anywhere, you open up any Google, anything, and you look at what's the population of the Filipino in this country. What position does the Filipino hold in this country, that country? Look at all the different countries. Look at the U.S. Man, do you know that the Filipina is the second highest wage earner in the medical field in the USA? The Filipina, from a third world country. Okay? From a third world country, bro. Why? Because there's something in this culture that breeds what I call success. Yeah. And one thing I've found that's a part of the success is the self-discipline, the required self-discipline, you know? I'm going to give you a good example. This is a personal example. I got a neighbor, and he got 3 little boys. 3. And they cry like we pray 4:43 every morning. 4:43. There's not one morning that one of his babies is not screaming bloody murder by 5:15. I'm talking about screaming bloody murder. You would think somebody is beating this kid, killing this kid, or something. Blood every single solitary day. Now, my normal me would be like, hey, shut the F up. Or, hey, can't you do something with your kids? Or, hey, what's going on, man? Give me a break. But here's the thing. What I've observed and what I've learned is that The screaming baby actually serves a purpose for the baby. Not only that, me personally, it's allowing me to develop my patience. And what else? It's allowing me to mature as an old man. Yeah, mature, because I don't get my way don't mean that I have the right to do and say anything that I want. You follow me? So it's a whole lot that goes on here in the Philippines with the culture that can help you, certainly helps me develop as a better person. And you would think, how could a screaming baby help you develop as a better person? Well, trust me, every day it does. Every day I have to work on what? My patience. And what is patience? Patience is a virtue. And if you look up the benefits of having patience, man, it's astronomical. Because all the other things that it developed in you as a person who has patience. Huh? Yeah. If you read your scriptures, it'll tell you about people who have patience. Okay? It'll tell you about the relationship between the Creator and patience. Yeah, it's so what I'm saying is, whatever your experiences are, whether it's hit the ground, everything is fine, or you hit the ground, you make some mistakes, it's all going to make you a better person. Whatever happened once you get to the Philippines. Okay? But one thing you got to remember is don't become bitter. Okay? Learn from the Filipino. Look at the poverty they live in, and look, you will never, you know, one thing about a Filipino is every Filipino, you can call him what? A joker. Why? Because he has an extreme sense of humor. He will make fun, he will make comedy, he will make little of situations, and he will find a way to get through the day. Right? Why? It's what this Asian culture has established in him as a person. And it's a lot of stuff involved. I'm just touching the surface of it, and I don't know how much of a better person I am, but I know how much better I feel. I know looking in the mirror every day, I can say that I'm different than I was yesterday. I know that. And I attribute that to my grasping of this culture. So yeah, you need to be aware of that. Be aware of your options when you get to this country. And listen, whatever you do, don't be bitter. Make it a good experience. Okay? Because whatever it is meant for you. So just get here, enjoy yourself. Okay? God bless, take care. Remember one thing for sure, two for certain. When you help other people, you truly help yourself. Okay? And that's on everything I love. That's the truth. When you help other people, you're helping yourself. God bless, take care. See you guys real soon.